Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. It's Warhammer The Old World Day, and we are into part 2 of my review of army lists for the Forces of Evil, Ravening Hordes, the bad guy book for this new incarnation, this 9th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, Warhammer The Old World. This Horus Heresy, if you will. Of course, this is a play on the original Ravening Hordes and is styled a lot like this, the armies of the Lord of the Rings, which is not surprising because this is the same design team making this game based on the classic Warhammer stuff. So we've already done the Orcs and Goblins. We are moving on now, and you can see that by going up on the cards or pick your favorite army to check out today. We're going on to the Warriors of Chaos. And you'll notice in the title, Warriors of Chaos. This is after the defeat of the Chaos forces, and they're driven back into the Chaos Wastes, and so Chaos is not ascendant right now. The end times are where Chaos's ascendancy basically happens. This is a time of just mortal men, of the hordes in the north, the barbarian tribes, and there's very little demon stuff in here. There's only a demon prince and a Chaos Hell Cannon. So you do not get any of the superpowered stuff, and that actually goes along with the much lower power scale of this game. There's no giant, huge super units in this book or in this edition of the game in general. You're looking at pretty much the most powerful thing in the game being this Chaos Lord that you're about to see, but no demon prince. No greater demons. Demon princes exist, but no greater demons. No demonic monsters. No demonic cavalry, infantry, any of that stuff. This is just mortals. And let's take a look at that in general. So the Grand Army Composition list, you get no required units in here, but the standard breakdown, 50 on characters, 25 on core, 50 on special, 25 on rare. You can have up to 1 Chaos Lord or Demon Prince, not both. 0 to 1 Exalted Champion or Sorcerer Lord per 1,000 points, and then Aspiring Champions and Exalted Sorcerers, you can have as many as you want. At least 25% must be spent on Chaos Warriors, Chaos Marauders, Forsaken, Chaos Knights, Marauder Horsemen, and Chaos Warhounds. And the basing for these has changed slightly, so bear that in mind. Up to 50% of your army can be spent on 0 to 1 unit of Chaos Chosen, 0 to 1 unit of Chosen Chaos Knights, Chaos Ogres, Chaos Trolls, Chaos Spawn, Chaos Chariots, and Chimeras, Dragon Ogres, which are lifted from the Beastmen Brayherds army list. And then rare, you can have any number of Gore Beast Chariots, 0 to 1 Hell Cannon per 1,000 points, a 0 to 1 Dragon Ogre Shaggoth per unit of Dragon Ogres, and 0 to 1 Chaos Giant per 1,000 points. Up to 20% of your army can be spent on mercenaries, which there's no mercenaries available yet, but we might see some in the future. And 25% of your army can be spent on allied contingents, such as armies of infamy, again, which we haven't seen because there's no arcane journal for the Warriors of Chaos yet. And you can have uneasy allies with Orcs and Goblin tribes. You are full allies with Beastmen Brayherds, so that means they don't count as levies. And then Tomb Kings of Khemri are suspicious, which means they'll attack you if you fall back through them. Usual 25% or 25-point upgrade for making an Exalted Champion or Chaos Champion a Battle Standard Bearer. All right. Again, I'm not doing unit-by-unit breakdowns here. I'm going to focus today on basing, so you guys can check out the base size if you have access to these miniatures, and the sort of like great beats of what's here. For the most part, these armies can be built just like in the past. They're not. If you had a miniature from like the old Warhammer times, you can equip them that way. It would take forever to do this otherwise. So Champions of Chaos, you can have a Lord, Exalted Champion, or Aspiring Champion. They have pretty much their old stat line. Initiative is only 6, 5, and 4, because initiative does matter quite a bit more. Your leadership's capped at 9, or 8 for the lower level champions. They are on 30 by 30 centimeter or millimeter bases now. And you get full plate for the Chaos Lord, but everybody else gets heavy armor and a hand weapon. All the extra gear, additional hand weapons, flails, great weapons, halberds, and lances. They can have a shield. They can be mounted on different types of mounts, so all the mounts come later on. And remember, mounts don't have a separate stat line anymore. They add wounds, attacks, and toughness to the model that they're on. They can have a Mark of Chaos Undivided replaced with Mark of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch. They do pretty much what they used to do. Slaanesh is immune to psychology. Tzeentch is slightly changey. Well, I'm just going to go through them now because they're going to get referred to a whole bunch right here. Undivided is you can reroll your failed Fear, Panic, and Terror test, which is the same as it was in 8th, I believe. Immune to psychology if you're, sorry, not immune to psychology, immune to panic tests if you're a Mark of Slaanesh and +1 initiative in the first round of any combat. Mark of Nurgle is if you attack them, they're not -1 to hit anymore, but you have to reroll your successful natural 6s to hit. You have Frenzy if you're Khorne, which is just like the old days. And Mark of Tzeentch, you have flaming attacks and magic resistance -1. So any spell targeting you is -1 to the casting roll. In addition, if a wizard with the Mark of Tzeentch has joined a unit of with the Mark of Tzeentch with a unit of strength of 10 or more, they can apply a +1 to their casting rolls. But they have to have at least a mark of 10 unit strength to do so. So you can buy this for all 10 points each. And then you can take Gifts of Chaos, which are basically magic items that are only available to Chaos, up to 50 points. And then any Lord can have 100 points, 75 for an Exalted Champion, Aspiring Champion, 50 points of magic items. You get Chaos Armor 5+, which is a special rule for the army, which I will go to right now so you guys can see them. Those are just Chaos, Army Special Rules. That was Marks of Chaos, Lords of Chaos, magic items. Here we go. Chaos Armor X. A model with this special rule has a ward save against wounds suffered, and it's equal to the X value. In addition, a wizard can wear this without any casting penalties. So built-in ward saves now for Chaos Warriors just because of their Chaos Armor. And Sorcerer Weapons. And Sorcerer Weapons are a additional -1. It's magical attacks and AP -1. And then a Gaze of the Gods is anytime during the command subphase of the turn, a character with this special rule can choose to rule on the Gaze of the Gods table. On a 1, you're damned by chaos. You become subject to stupidity for the rest of the game. And if they already had this special rule, they're -1 their leadership to a minimum of 2. Or on a 2+, you get something good. So Unnatural Quickness, the champion, time itself seems to slow down. You get +1 on your initiative characteristic until the next sort of turn, because these change every turn. Iron Skin. Beneath your armor, you get Iron Skin and go +1 toughness to a maximum of 10. So that could raise your toughness above 6, even if mounted on a monster. A Murderous Mutation. For the remainder of the game, this model gains a +1 to their weapon skill. Dark Fury. A terrible rage grips the champion until the remainder of the game. This model gets +1 to their attacks to a maximum of 10. And Apotheosis. The champion is blessed with the demonic vitality. For the remainder of the game, they get +1 to their strength and leadership characteristic. So 4+, you get something forever. And then Iron Skin is until the next subphase. Unnatural Quickness until the next subphase. And Damned by Chaos is forever. And then you have Rallying Cry, which is the command ability you can do in the start of turn phase. So then Demon Princes, they are on 50 by 50s. You could use the new Demon Prince miniature, although it's funny, they bring back the old Demon Prince miniature, I think, for the, in here. Yeah, there's the old Demon Prince miniature. So you could use that guy, or you could use the cool new one. I think I'll probably use the cool new one. There's nothing wrong with this guy, but the cool new one is extremely cool. There's no reason not to use him. Same with the Chosen. Why not use the plastic Chosen? They're awesome and they're available now. So again, Monstrous Infantry, and you're a character on a 50. Hand Weapon and Light Armor, you can be a wizard, and you have access to Battle Magic, Demonology, and Dark Magic if you do. If you are a Demon Prince, you can have Heavy Armor for 6 points, Fly 9, you can Wings for 30 points. Fly is just the range of your fly move. And you can have your Mark of Chaos for 10 points each, and you can be up to 100 points for level 4 wizard. You can buy Gifts of Chaos and 100 points of magic items. You have a 4+ Chaos Armor and Sorcered Weapons, Fear, Gaze of the Gods, Immune to Psychology, Lore of Chaos, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Regeneration 5+, Unbreakable, Unstable, and Warp Spawned. So you are crazy tough. Moving on to the Sorcerers of Chaos, they're also on 30 by 30s. Basically, every Chaos Warrior size thing is 30 by 30 in this. They can do Battle Magic, Demonology, and Dark Magic, so lots of lores that they can have. Your Sorcerer level is 3, and Exalted Sorcerer is level 1, so you can increase that, of course. You cannot have the Mark of Khorne, because you're a Sorcerer. You can be mounted, and you can buy additional levels on top of that. 100 points of magic items for a basic guy, for a Lord, 50 for a basic, Exalted Sorcerer. Chaos Armor 5+, and Sorcered Weapons, Gaze of the Gods, Lore of Chaos, Mark of Chaos Undivided. And then your mounts. So a Lord, Exalted Champion, or Aspiring Champion can have a Chaos Steed, a Demonic Mount, so the big 50 by 50, which is this guy right here, 40 by 60 up to 50 by 75. They give you a bunch of choices for Demonic Mounts in this one, actually, which is cool because there are so many cool, you could put them on a fly, right? There's no sort of they don't dictate what it's supposed to be because it could just be anything. Chaos Steeds are 30 by 60. And they have Iron Shod Hooves that count as a hand weapon and barding. First Charge and Swift Stride. And you can have a Chaos Dragon, Manticore, Gorbeast Chariot, Chaos Chariot, Demonic Mount, Chaos Lord for the fighting characters, Chaos Steed, Demonic Mount, Chaos Chariot, Manticore, or Chaos Dragon for the Exalted Sorcerers and Sorcerer Lords. But the monsters are Lords only, right? So if you want a Manticore or Chaos Dragon, you're going to have to be a big guy. And that model still exists. All right, Chaos Warriors. It's the basic stat block that has almost never changed, although their initiative has gone down to 4. Again, appropriate, I think, for this. 30 by 30 for their basic size, minimum of 5+ for the unit size. Hand weapon and heavy armor, not chaos armor. No ward save, just heavy armor, interestingly enough. However, they can take additional hand weapons, great weapons, and halberds. They can take shields. The entire unit can have their Mark of Chaos replaced, 2 points per model. Any unit can be upgraded to a champion, musician, standard bearer, and take a 50-point magic standards. And a champion can purchase 25 points of magic items. Now it's the less armor I think is going to be interesting. Chaos Chosen Warriors, they are of course extra attacky. They go up 17 points each, and they can have the same loadout with shields and stuff like that. But they can also have the drilled special rule for +1 point per model, and they can have full plate for +2 additional points. So you can make them very expensive and very, very fighty, but they count as specials. Chaos Marauders, they are still on 25 by 25, so no need to rebase your Marauders. They can have great weapons and flails, light armor and shields, marks. But they can also be made into skirmishers for free or have open order for free. So they can effectively be infantry fast cav or become skirmishers, which is a very interesting choice and makes Chaos Marauders a lot more, honestly, interesting. Your Forsaken, which are like mutated Chaos Warriors, they have a 30 by 30 basing size, 5+ models. The entire unit must be one of the following: either Khorne, so they hate everybody; Nurgle, so they cause fear; Slaanesh, they have Swift Stride; or Forsaken of Tzeentch for -3 magic resistance. And then they have Chaos Armor 5+, and so 5+ ward, and Sorcerer weapons, Furious Charge, Immune to Psychology, Impetuous, Loner. Impetuous means they have to, they can operate normally on a 4+, 1 to 3, they have to try and make a charge. Loner, open order, so they're not ever going to have a huge rank bonus, even though they're heavy infantry. Rampant Mutation, random attacks, and stubborn, but you can not use open order as well, it's just an option. Rampant Mutation is Venomous Fangs. Once with Jaws descended, the Forsaken sink Venomous Fangs, they get poison attacks. Razor Talons, they get additional AP of -2. And Decapitating Claws, they get Killing Blow on a 5/6. And when this unit's combat is chosen, you have to roll to see what mutation they're afflicted with. So you have a different one every time they fight. Killing Blow is pretty sweet though, because it's no saving. You lose all your wounds if you're infantry or cavalry. Chaos Ogres, 40 by 40 is as close as I'm going to get to my beautiful ogre boys. And their models aren't great, so I'm hoping we get new ones. The entire unit can have either additional hand weapons or great weapons. They have old school ogre stats: weapon skill 3, strength toughness 4, 3 attacks, initiative 2, 3 wounds. I love it. By full command. They have Arbane 1, so all their additional, all their attacks get additional -1 AP. Close order, so they fight together. Fear, impact hits 1, so when they charge the impact hits, they can belly flop, Mark of Chaos, Undivided, and Ogre Charge. And Ogre Charge is the armor piercing characteristic of any impact hits caused by a model with this special rule is increased by their current rank bonus, because they run you over like a pain train. Chaos Trolls, they're just trolls. Hand weapons and troll vomit. They take additional hand weapons or great weapons. Lots of plastic trolls you can convert into these now on 40 by 40s. 1 to 9, so you can have a unit of 1, which I think is really interesting. I'm excited about that. And Troll Vomit, of course, is a -2 AP in combat, strength 3 attack. Their base combat, they can make 1 additional attack with this weapon because they puke on you with their Chaos Puke. Spawns, 1 to 4 in a unit, 50 by 50 basing size, which is different from the old ones, so you'll have to rebase if you had old ones. 2d6 movements, T5, so pretty much the way they used to be random attacks. You can be Spawn of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch. If you are Khorne, you get Killing Blow. D6 Killing Blow attacks is bananas. Nurgle has Poison, which is the 6 to hit auto wounds. Spawn of Slaanesh has First Strike. And then Spawn of Tzeentch has the flaming attacks and magical attack special rules. Chaos Knights, they're not that expensive. Weapon skill 5 still, standard Chaos Warrior stat line, 30 by 60. You can have a unit of 4 or more, because 4 is a rank for heavy cavalry. Hand weapons, heavy armor, and shields. No 1+ save anymore for these guys. And they have close order and sorcered weapons, first charge, Mark of Chaos, Undivided, and Swift Stride. Buy a mark for 2 points. They can all have lances for 2 points, but in sorcered weapons are pretty great because that strength 4 is going to be additional IP'd. And then the Chosen Chaos Knights, 2 attacks each, 30 by 60s, like just all the Chaos Warrior stuff. The Marauder Horsemen, interestingly, are also on 30 by 60, even though they had 25 mil infantry. So their plastic Marauder Horsemen look better on that size probably anyway. But if you have the old ones, you will have to rebase or make new movement trays, which is probably the easier thing to do. The entire unit can take lances for 2 points. You can buy marks for 2 points. They can all have full plate, which will give them the super save at plus 3 points per model. And they can be drilled for 2 points. Champion can purchase the magic items of 25 points as well. And they have Chaos Armor 6+. They have a 6+ ward, which is pretty nice. They are stubborn, which means if they have to fall back in good order, they can choose to give ground instead. And they have first charge and sorcerer weapons and a counter charge, which is very nice. Even though they are not a detachment, they can counter charge. Marauder Horsemen, basic Marauders, weapon skill 4 humans. With movement 8 war horses. They can have cavalry spears, throwing spears, and flails. Throwing axes or javelins, which are nice because they can quick fire. They can take shields for 1 point per model, and they're pretty legit, I'll be honest with you. Upgrade 1 model to a Marauder Horse Champion, 1 to a Standard Bearer, 1 to a Musician. They have Fast Cav, Fire and Flee, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Open Order, Skirmishers, Swift Stride, and Warband. Chaos Warhounds, still on the old bases, 25 by 50, 5+. I got a million of these metal guys, although I don't have the ones in plastic. They can have Armored Hide for 1 point per model, Poison Attacks, Vanguard for 5 points per unit as opposed to per model, and then they can have a Handler, which is a Chaos Warhound Handler, just a dude on 30 by 30 that leads them. Additional hand weapon and a whip increases their leadership significantly to 8. He has Handler, Loner, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Move Through Cover, and Vanguard. Handler means that a Chaos Warhound Handler is a special type of character that can be taken as an upgrade to a unit of Chaos Warhounds. During deployment, position a Chaos Warhound Handler with its unit of Chaos Warhounds as you would a character that has joined a unit. Once placed, the handler cannot leave the unit unless this model is fleeing. Friendly units of Chaos Warhounds that are within command range of this model's leadership use it instead of their own. And then Chaos Chariots, 60 by 100. So a new basing size for those chariots, 60 by 100. Hand weapons and halberds, they can have marks, and sorcerer weapons, first charge, impact hits D6 +1. And you can put a character on them. Chaos Chariot may be included in your army as a character's mount. If so, its points are added to its rider. And then Gorebeast Chariots, much the same, but the Gorebeast is a better fighter. Obviously, weapon skill 4, strength 5, 2 attacks. 2 initiative and 3 attacks. Also on a 60 by 100. And it has Armor Bane 1 for the Gorebeast, Close Order, and Sorcerer Weapons. First charge, impact hits D6 +2, and Killing Blow on the Gorebeast, and Mark Undivided. And you can also have a character mounted on it as well. And then your Manticore is going to add +4 to your wounds, which is pretty sweet, but no increase to your toughness, because it's not a very tough model. It has a Venomous Tail for 15 points. Close Order, it's Fly 9 inches, Large Target, Stomp Attacks D3, Swift Stride, Terror, and Willful Beast. Willful Beast is during the start of turn subphase of each of their turns. This model must make a leadership test. If it's passed, the rider is able to keep control. If it fails, then it suffers Frenzy. It's got Wicked Claws with an additional AP of -2, and Venomous Tail, Poison Attacks, and Strike First. And of course, a character can only be mounted on it. You can take it as a Dragon. Dragon is +1 toughness and +6 wounds with a strength 7, 6 attacks. It is crazy strong on a 60 by 100. Equipment is Wicked Claws, Dark Fire of Chaos, because it breathes fire, and Fumes of Contagion. And Draconic Scales, it counts as full plate armor. So two-headed dragon, a Chaos Dragon may use the Dark Fire of Chaos or Fumes of Contagion during the shooting phase. Wicked Claws is combat, of course, -2 to its AP. Dark Fire of Chaos, strength 4, -1 AP. Breath Weapon, flaming attacks, magical attacks. And then the Fumes of Contagion are a breath weapon with magical attack. And no armor saves are permitted against the Fumes of Contagion, but you can make ward regeneration. Chimeras are individual monsters you can buy, 180 points. It's a monstrous creature, 60 by 100. Can have a Flaming Breath, Fiend Tail, Generation 5+, or Poisoned Attacks, because you buy all of its different like chimeric mutations. Special rules are Armor Bane 2 for its Claws and Fangs, Close Order, Fly, Large Target, Stomp Attacks, Swift Stride, and Terror. And the Fiend Tail gives you an extra D3 attacks in melee for AP -1. Flaming Breath is breath weapon, flaming attacks. And then the Hell Cannon, man, this thing is a classic. It's on 100 by 150. It's 1, has an armor value of 4+. It shoots Doomfire, has Chaos Dwarfs for handlers still, and a beefy stat line. Its troop type is considered Behemoth because it's so big. And it's got Armor Bane 1, Caged Fury, which means during the start of turn subphase of each turn, make a leadership test. If it's failed, it rolls immediately on the Hell Cannon misfire table, which means it could be free at last. Every unit free, friend or foe within 3d6 suffers d6 strength 5 hits with an AP of -1. Once he hits a resolve, the Hell Cannon's removed from play as a casualty. Chomp. One of its handlers is sucked into the furnace. Remove one of its Chaos Dwarves. And then Blood. It breaks its chain, immediately moving 3d6 inches as if it was subject to random movement, and as if it was the compulsory move subphase, because it just starts running. But it has a guess range 12 to 60-inch weapon, strength 5 on the template, or 10 in the hole. And it uses bombardment like a stone throw with a 3-inch blast. It's cumbersome, mover shoot, and has multiple wounds D3. Its AP is -2 under the template and -5 under the hole. Yeah, it's very funny. It's also unbreakable. It causes terror. It's regeneration 6+. And Warp Spawned, which is another special rule. I think it's an army special rule. No, it's not. No, just a core special rule. Gifts of Chaos. So these are the things that you can buy just for like the Chaos and the Aspiring Champions and the Lords and stuff like that, where they're mutations, and mostly for the Demon Prince, who gets a bunch of them. Dark Majesty, unless the character is fleeing, any enemy unit that's required to make a Fear Terror test while within this character's command range does so at additional -1 to their leadership. Demon Flesh, you cannot be wounded on rolls of 2+, regardless of strength. That one's really good, actually, for 45 points. Extra Arm, this character, but not their mount, has a +1 modifier to its attacks. Demonic Splendor, any enemy model that targets this character, or any unit they have joined during the shooting phase, additional -1 to hit. Enchanted Aura. Enemy units engaged in combat with this character cannot use a Strike First special rule. Enemy models that do not have Strike First special rule become subject to Strike Last instead. So it cancels Strike First and makes it Strike Last, so Initiative 1, which is very good. Or if Pains for once per game when this character's combat is chosen during the step 1.1 of the Choose and Fight combat subphase, a single enemy unit they're engaged with suffers D6 strength 3 hits with no armor regeneration saves permitted, but word saves can be made. Master of Mortals, unless they're fleeing, friendly Chaos Marauders and Chaos Horsemen gain +1 to their leadership in the command range, the maximum of 10. And Acid Ichor, for every wound this character loses during a challenge, they suffer a strength 4 hit with an AP of -2. Poison Slime, they have poison attacks, 15 points. Honestly, poison attacks almost is good enough on its own. Warriors of Chaos magic items. You do get some classics from the old Chaos army books in here, like the Demon Sword, 75 points. It's strength plus D3 because it's random. AP -2, extra attacks D3, magical attacks and strikes first. So it's initiative 10. But whenever a natural 1 is made when rolling a hit with this weapon, it hits the wielder instead. The Chaos Rune Sword's 45 points. It's a dwarf runesmith Gugni, a secret pact of the Chaos Gods. An evil blade that's forged from black rumble by the thrice cursed dwarf runesmith Grugni. Ironheart. Combat, strength +1, AP -1 magical attacks, and it's +1 to their weapon skill and initiative. A Filth Mace for 40 points. Strength +1, -1 AP magic attacks. Any enemy model that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from a Filth Mace must make a toughness test. And if it's failed, the wounded model suffers a -1 to its toughness characteristic until the end of the turn. A Spell Thieving Sword. It's just AP -1 magic attack, but any enemy wizard that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds forgets a single spell for the remainder of the game. And then Magic Armor, Armor of the Damned, 70 points. It's a suit of full plate. In addition, during the combat phase, enemy models must reroll successful hit rolls against the bearer. That's a legitimately amazing piece of armor. If you stick that on a Chaos Dragon Chaos Lord, whose weapon skill 7, and you go flying into a unit of like weapon skill 3 guys, they're hitting you on 5s, rerolling successes. The Crimson Armor of Dargan, it's 40 points. Models whose troop type are infantry or cavalry only. It's suit of heavy armor, and if the wearer is immune to multiple wounds, X special rule. Talisman, so you get the Crown of Everlasting Conquest for 40 points. It's regenerate 5+. Brazen Collar for 20 points. Magic resistance -2. Banner of the Gods, you ignore all negative modifiers for leadership. The Doom Totem, All enemy units that can draw line of sight to the Doom Totem just suffer -1 on your leadership, which is very funny. Although with the way line of sight works now, it's not as good because line of sight can be blocked quite easily. The Blasted Standard, a unit carrying a Blasted Standard can reroll any rolls of natural 1 when making armor saves against wounds suffered during the shooting phase, which is quite cool. And then Banner of Rage, they become frenzied, and you cannot lose this rule. Enchant Items, the Pendant of Damnation. Whilst this troop type must be infantry or cavalry only, you get +1 to your attack characteristic for every wound you lose. So no more putting it on a chariot. How many eyes? You gain strike first. However, due to the confusing images, you're also stupid. Favor of the Gods, it's 5 points, single use. The bearer may reroll the d6 when consulting the gaze of the gods, which is kind of cool. And then Arcane Items, the Skull of Catan. The bearer of the Skull of Catan and any other wizard within 3 inches from their foe gets +1 to casting rolls. An Infernal Puppet for 50 points. Unless the owner of the Infernal Puppet is fleeing or engaged in combat, they may use it whenever an enemy wizard is within 24 and makes a casting roll. If they do so, enemy wizard must roll an extra d6 and discard the highest result. And then Spell Familiar, 0/1 per wizard. The owner of the Spell Familiar knows 1 more spell than normal. Which is cool because knowing a spell means you're casting a spell. So for 15 points, just being able to cast an extra spell every turn, that's very cool. But it doesn't increase your wizard level, so you don't add to your casting roll, but you would get to cast it every turn. We all went through the special rules. Lords of Chaos. Okay, so now the Lord of Chaos is a mark-based signature spell that you get in addition to the Battle Magic, Daemonology, and Dark Magic spells. I'm going to go through the signature spells, and then we'll go through the core spells too. Winds of Chaos is a hex. Cast on a 7 or a 9, 21-inch range. If you cast it on a 7+, then you are -1 movement. If you cast it on a 9+, you're -2 movement. Acquiescence. Cast on a 6 with a range of 12, you get Strike Last. Fleshy Abundance. It's an enchantment on a 7+ on self. It remains in play, you get +1 toughness. And then Blue Fire for the Mark of Tzeentch. You get a magic missile for a 9+ on a range of 18. It's D6 +3, strength 4 hits with a -1 AP2 and flaming, which is bananas. And that's it for the core rules, but let's take a quick look at Daemonology in here, because these are you're gonna roll on these, Dark Magic or Battle Magic. So you only pick one of these, remember, there's no colleges right now. If you take Battle Magic, you can have Hammer Hand. It's an assailment, so it happens in combat, and it's 2d3 strength 4 hits with an AP -2 on a 7+. Fireball, it's an 8+ magic missile. Remember, these are random, so you're gonna roll your wizard level, and you can drop for either this signature spell or one of these signature spells if you want. Fireball is a 2d6 strength 4 hits with an AP of dash and flaming. Curse Arrow of Attraction. It's a hex with a 7+ casting value on a 21-inch range. You can reroll natural rolls of 1 when shooting at that target enemy unit. Pillar of Fire. It's a magical vortex on a 9+. Remains in play, small 3-inch blast template with a center within 12 of the caster. While in play, it's treated as dangerous terrain, and it moves at d6 in a direction of the caster's choosing at the start of turn subphase, and does d3 +3, strength 3 hits with an AP -2 and flaming to anything it touches. Arcane Urgency, cast on a 10 on a range of 5+. It's a conveyance spell. If the target unit's not fleeing and has already moved this movement phase, it may immediately move again, so you move twice. And then Oaken Shield, cast on a 7, it's self. Until the start of the turn, you get a 5+ ward save. So the next turn, you basically wrap around 5+ wards until your next start turn subphase too, so it's going to go through your enemy turn too. And the Curse of Cowardly Flight, it's a cast on 9+ hex, so again, the start of turn phase. Range 15 inches. The target enemy unit must immediately make a panic test. If it passes any panic test it's required to make for any reason, it must give ground. Yeah, it still has to make the test. Demonology. So your signature spell is the Summoning. It's a magic missile with a 9+. Basically, you throw demons at somebody. It's a 18-inch range and 2d6 strength 4 hits with an AP of -1. Steed of Shadows is your conveyance. This spell can only target friendly models whose type is infantry. You get Fly 12 until your next turn subphase. Gathering Darkness, it's a hex on a 9+. Until your next turn subphase, the target enemy unit suffers a -2 to its initiative, a -2 modifier to its leadership, and cannot use the general's inspiring presence. And it may target enemies in combat. Demonic Familiars is a in-combat assailment on an 8+. It's 2d6 strength 2 hits with no armor saves. Demonic Vessel's a 10+ self spell. It's an enchantment until the end of this turn. A caster in their mark and any unit they've joined gain a +1 modifier to the strength and attack characteristic and improve the armor piercing characteristic of their weapons by 1. And then Vortex of Chaos. It's a magical vortex on an 8+. Remains in play. Place a small 3-inch blast template so that the central hole is within 15. And while in play, it's treated as dangerous terrain. It moves D6 in a random direction. And anything it touches takes D6 +1 strength 3 with an AP at dash. Hits. And then finally, Demonic Vigor. It's an enchantment on a 9+ the range of 15. The friendly unit gets +1 movement, toughness, and initiative. That is a great spell. And then finally, Dark Magic. This is kind of the Beastman's lore, but you get access to it as well. Doombolt. It's an 8+ magic missile. It's place a small 3-inch blast template, so its central hole is directly over the center of the target enemy unit. Any enemy model in space lies underneath, gets a risk of being hit like a stone thrower, and takes strength 3, AP -2 hits. So Word of Pain, it's a hex, which means, again, it's going to be in the start of turn phase. 10+, range 18, until the start of your next start of turn sub phase, the enemy target suffers a -1 to its strength and toughness. And you can target units in combat. Stream of Corruption is a flame template. It's an assailment, cast on an 8+ in combat. Place a base template with an arrow edge covers or touches the caster's base. And the broad ends over the unit it's engaged in combat with. Any model, friend, or foe underneath the template takes like a potential hit of strength 3 -1 AP. Conveyances, Infernal Gateway. This is a 10+, range 12, targets friendly characters and can target them in combat. If they're not fleeing, you can place them immediately anywhere in the battlefield up to 12 inches of its original location, but not within 6 of the enemy. You just walk through a door. And then Phantasmagoria. It's a magical vortex, cast on a 9, range 12, remains in play. Place a small 3-inch blast template so the central hole is within 12 of the caster. While it's in play, the template does not move and is treated as dangerous terrain. Enemy units that end their movement within 12 of the template must immediately make a panic test. Those that fail will fall back in good order or flee directly away from the template. Those who pass or that do not have to make the test become subject to Impetuous special rule while they're within 12 of the template. So on a 4+, you act normally. On a 1 to 3, you have to charge. Battle Lust, you get Frenzy and Hatred for all enemies special rules. On a 9+, it's an enchantment, range of 12. And Soul Eater is a 7+ assailment. Ranges combat, a single enemy model the caster is engaged with suffers a single strength 3 hit with multiple wounds 3 and no armor saves, but you can make ward and regeneration saves as normal. So 3 lores of magic give access to, on top of all your extra signature spells. And that's it. So I'm into this. Like, I like that they've kind of uncomplicated the Chaos Army, and I like that in the background period and lore of this like time in the old world, Chaos is not ascendant, right? It's prior to Magnus the Pious, and so they're just not. It's not that they're not a threat. It's that they're kind of dormant right now before they come back and destroy the entire world. So they're not sort of like the main antagonists the way that Cetra is with his I guess his expansionism, which is the outset of this game. So yeah, if you've got old Chaos models, a lot of 30 mil basing, but luckily the Hordes of Marauders will not need rebasing unless they are cavalry. And frankly, the ranking up will be a lot easier. And if you are on 30 by 30s, you might. I don't know if you'd be able to get away with the new Chosen on these bases. They are pretty huge, but some of the new Chaos Warriors for AOS might actually fit. The Slaves of Darkness ones might actually fit on bases and not rank up poorly. But the new ones certainly rank up way easier on that basing size. So there it is. Up next is going to be, I believe, we're moving on to the Beastmen, which is the sort of sub-faction and friendly allies to the Chaos Warriors. So thanks for watching. We'll see you for the next review. You can go open the cards and check it out today, or at your leisure. Thanks now, Mash. Happy gaming.